Hello friends, looking at current affairs for 10th June. The news items picked up from the Hindu newspaper are these 12. We'll look at them in detail. The first one, May to form government despite Tory slide. So this is regarding UK. The UK British Prime Minister Theresa May, she had called for snap elections in April 2017. So this was called because she wanted a clear mandate in the Westminster, means in the Parliament of UK, so that decisions could be taken on Brexit. So after the Brexit referendum, when the people voted that they want to Brexit, basically means exiting, Britain exiting from EU, European Union. So when people voted that they want to come out of European Union, so oppose that the British Prime Minister then, that was Mr. Cameron, James Cameron, he resigned from the post and he was belonging to this Conservative Party. So after his resignation, Theresa May was elected the leader of the Conservative Party and she became the Prime Minister. So the elections were due, James Cameron was elected Prime Minister, the elections had happened in 2015. So it's the same, British parliamentary system is same as Indian parliamentary system. We have adopted it from Britain. So House of Commons is the lower house here. So there are 650 seats in the House of Commons. So to get a majority to form a government, you need at least 50% of the seats. That means at least 326 seats were required to be won. And presently in the snap elections, what was expected is that the people would give her government a clear mandate and she would be able to sail through the Brexit. But that has not happened. The Labour Party leader Jeremy Corbyn has given her tough competition, and Theresa May's Conservative Party has been able to win only 318 seats. So this is short of the 326 needed. So she will have to merge with a small coalition party of Northern Ireland to form the government. The next news item is PAN Aadhaar linkage upheld. So the Supreme Court has given its verdict in this PAN Aadhaar linkage case. This was regarding the amendment which was done through Finance Act of 2017. So the Finance Act of 2017 is part of the budget 2017. So budget comprises of two bills which are passed as acts in the parliament. So that is appropriation bill and finance bill. So this finance bill inserted this provision, and section 139AA was inserted in this, which called for amendment to the Income Tax Act. So this amendment which has been done called that PAN card and Aadhaar card would be linked. So the government has given the reason for this being that they want to eliminate duplicate PAN cards. So this was challenged in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has given its verdict now and it has upheld this linking. It has said that the parliament is fully competent to enact laws if it wants to eliminate duplicate PAN cards, and this does not even violate the earlier Supreme Court ruling that Aadhaar cannot be mandatory. Aadhaar is voluntary. So this is its stand. So Supreme Court has upheld section 139AA1. But section 139AA2, the second part of this article, section in the Income Tax Act, this insertion said that those who do not link Aadhaar and PAN card by 1st July 2017, then their PAN cards would be invalidated. So this part has been stayed. A partial stay has been put by the Supreme Court on this, because it says if such an action is taken, then it would result in all actions which have been taken by the person holding the PAN card would be invalidated. So that cannot be allowed. So this part has been stayed. Also, the constitutional bench of the Supreme Court is looking into the question whether Aadhaar is violating right to privacy or not. So this is right to privacy even included under Article 21 of the Constitution, which deals with right to life. So right to life includes right to privacy as well. So that is the interpretation of the Supreme Court. So this is regarding that. Then this is showing the Aadhaar push for Aadhaar which Centre has initiated. So it is there for direct benefit transfer schemes. Aadhaar linking is required for public distribution system. PDS also Aadhaar card has been linked, and the government is showing the figures, facts and figures, how fake election cards have been deleted as such. Then also in banking, eKYC has been facilitated through the Aadhaar cards. Then passports also. Passports have been issued using Aadhaar. LPG, fake duplicate LPG connections have been weeded out. In MGNREGS scheme also Aadhaar has been linked. So this has resulted in direct benefit transfer also as such provided to workers. Then income tax, again this Aadhaar linking is what we were talking of. and pension. In pensions also Aadhaar seeding has been done. Then biometric attendance is also there in various organizations. Aadhaar enabled biometric attendance system is also available. The next is India-Pakistan becomes full members of SCO. So India and Pakistan have now become full members of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. The summit which took place in Astana completed this process after 2 years of the procedure which was going on, the memorandum of obligation signed by the countries, and now this has been completed. So this is in background of India-Pakistan tension across the border, of accusations of supporting terrorism too on Pakistan, plus also India opposing China's Belt and Road Initiative. So Shanghai Cooperation Organization completely supports Belt and Road Initiative. So there are some contradictions in this relation too. So we'll see how this goes ahead. Also on the sidelines, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Mr. Xi Jinping also spoke, and he also spoke about cultural cooperation and about the film Dangal, which is doing quite well in China. So this is there. Also, yoga was celebrated last year with much fanfare in China. So even it is stated that they're looking forward to present year's International Day of Yoga, which is on 21st of June. The next is numismatics in a fix after note ban. So numismatics means those who collect coins, coin collectors. So these coin collections are generally there with old coins also. They are of much more value. And also coins, notes, currency. So currency notes. So presently with the ban of 500 and 1000 rupee, old 500 and 1000 rupee notes being demonetized, what has happened is numismatics want to have this collection as well. And there are different types of 500 and 1000 rupee notes. So there are variations. Any changes which are taking place, like even if the governor's signature changes, a new logo added in some place or somewhere. So these are variants of the currency. So rupees 500 and 1000 rupee notes, the old demonetized notes, there are 60 variants of 500 rupee note and 55 variants of 1000 rupee notes. So the numismatics collectors, they want to have all these notes with them as a collection. So this is restricted because of this act passed by the government. Specified Banknote Cessation of Liabilities Act. So in this act, the government has provided that anybody who is holding more than 10 old notes, means not more than 10 old notes should be held by anyone. If more than 10 is held, then they would be punished with fine as such and as such. So this is a restriction which is imposed, and also the provision has been made, facilitation has been made for study purposes, research and numismatic purposes specifically mentioned. The act makes provision that for such purposes you can hold more than 10 but not more than 25. So 25 is the limit, and what they want is, they're saying is 60 to 55 variants, 60 plus 55 variants of these currency, old currency notes are there. So this 25 is a restriction still. So a petition has been put forth before the government too. They have brought this to the notice of the government, but nothing has been done so far. Then next is 2 states in a fix as UP waives loan. So this we have been seeing that protests are going on in BJP ruled states of Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra after UP has provided farm loan waiver. So now these states are also demanding, farmers here are protesting and demanding farm loan waivers. So center government, the present article is important because it is stating that the central government has said that this is the responsibility of the states. Center cannot make provision for farm loan waiver. As we have seen, agriculture is part of the state subject. So center has given this clear statement that provision for this should be made by the state governments. They should make provisions for the finances which they will need to provide this farm loan waiver. So that is the statement coming here. The next is negotiations the only option, says Gilani. So this is coming from Jammu and Kashmir separatist leader. So Syed Ali Gilani, he has stated that negotiations, discussions amongst the leaders, tripartite negotiations, actually talks would take place between among the center, states and the leaders here in Jammu and Kashmir, the separatist leaders as they are called. Syed Ali Gilani, also another one is Mirwais Umar Farooq. So these are the prominent leaders as such in Jammu and Kashmir. After Union Home Minister offered a dialogue as such to resolve the present crisis in Jammu and Kashmir, the same tone has been seen to come from even these leaders now. So that is what is expected, that talks, negotiations take place and peace comes in Jammu and Kashmir. Even presently, a student was killed in a search operation in Shopian region in Jammu and Kashmir, because of which again violent protests are taking place all across. A bandh has been called as such too, and even the statement given by the army chief General Bipin Rawat's statement saying that individual officers are entitled to decide their own strategies to deal with the circumstances in the valley. So this statement has also been criticized by this leader and has been called as a colonial mindset. So Jammu and Kashmir is part of India, and a peaceful solution is what is required for this region as well is highlighted. Next is use bioethanol to end farm crisis, says Nitin Gadkari. So the Union Minister for Road Transport, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, has given this statement that bioethanol can help in ending farm crisis. So what we are seeing is that farm produce and even farm waste for that matter, like paddy, wheat straw, bagasse, all these biomass waste, even municipal waste, bamboo can be used to produce ethanol. And bioethanol, as it is called, from this biological products, if bioethanol which is produced can be used as fuel. So these are biofuels. So even mixing of biofuels take place, like 22% ethanol mixing with petrol also takes place, or even ethanol 100% is used, as an example given by the minister, that 55 air-conditioned buses in Nagpur are operated completely on 100% bioethanol. So this is also there. So then we need such flexi engines which can use biofuels. So this is what is being highlighted. So this will help in farmers getting additional revenue resources too. Plus also the paddy burning case which had come prominently in news, causing pollution in northern states, especially UP, Haryana and New Delhi. So this can also be resolved because you don't need to burn this paddy waste, but it can be fruitfully used to produce bioethanol. So this is the statement coming forth. Also another important thing which you should know is that India is going to adopt BS6, Bharat Standard 6 emission norms with effect from 1st April 2020. So we are actually skipping BS5. BS6 is equivalent to Euro 6 norms in European Union. So this is also a decision which has been questioned as such to why are we skipping a stage 2. And another thing is that we are going to bring in 100% electric vehicles by 2030. So presently the minister was questioned on how these two will go together, because at one point you are endorsing fuels as such, oil, petrol and diesel, and another you are talking of electric vehicles by 2030. So the minister has clarified that 2030 mission for electric vehicles is for cars and scooters, private vehicles, but then commercial vehicles will need cleaner fuels only. So they do not contradict is the clarification given. So here you can see the upgrade from BS4 to BS6 is highlighted. So what you need to change is that fuels also have to be upgraded, plus also the engines in the vehicles also have to be upgraded to be compliant with BS6 fuel. So here you can see BS5 has this diesel particulate filter and BS6 has selective catalytic reduction technology. So this is a further advance. So what we would be doing is that the car manufacturers, also vehicle manufacturers, will not have to go through one middle stage, but directly we can go for the higher stage. So of course there will be much more investments which they would also require to make, and the oil companies have stated that they can be BS6 compliant. So they can make the fuels BS6 compliant as per the demand, the roadmap which has been laid down. So this you can see is the decision taken. BS4 has been applicable to the entire country with effect from 1st April 2017 only. And now 1st April 2020 we are going to have BS6 compliance. And this is bioethanol shown. So you can see cellulose, the wood here, starch from food crops, sugar crops like sugar cane, sucrose, they can be used to produce bioethanol through processing, through fermentation basically. Then the next news item is Swiss support India's NSG bid. So Switzerland is going to take over the chairmanship of Nuclear Suppliers Group, NSG as it is called. This is a 48-member grouping comprising of various nations, and this controls global nuclear trade. So to be part of nuclear trade globally, India wants to be a member of NSG. So we have been given special status, special waiver from NSG post the India-US nuclear deal. But we want to become full members, and full membership is dependent on all nations, all 48 NSG nations agreeing to India becoming a member. And one major hindrance in India's membership to NSG is the member nations insisting that India should sign NPT, Non-Proliferation Treaty. The Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty has not been signed by India, neither by Pakistan. So this is a treaty which recognizes nuclear weapon states. So only 5 nuclear weapon states are recognized, and nuclear non-proliferation means you cannot spread nuclear technology to other countries. So these 5 nuclear weapon states are the permanent 5 members of United Nations too. US, UK, France, China and Russia. So what we want is that we should also be recognized as a nuclear weapon state, because de facto we have nuclear weapons, as Pakistan also has. So that is the case why we don't sign NPT, and that is one thing which is coming in way of NSG membership too. So officially it is not stated that without NPT signature you cannot become a member of NSG, but NSG members consensus is required. So all members should agree. So this is also a Grossi process which was initiated. This was under former NSG chairman and diplomat Rafael Grossi. The mandate was given that consensus should be built among all 48 members for India's membership to NSG. So this process of course has not been completed. China majorly opposed India's membership to NSG, and it insisted that all those members who are not signatory to NPT, then there should be a specific process how these members should be admitted, what commitments she should give, and then individual memberships should be discussed and allowed. So what China was indirectly trying to do was, along with India, Pakistan should also become member of NSG. So it has been opposing. Also other cases where China has been opposing India is on the Maulana Masood Azhar being designated as a terrorist at United Nations too. So this also is a case which China is blocking, and here NSG membership of India is what is being blocked by China as well. So this is on the side of India, we are opposing Belt and Road Initiative. So India-China relations have not been doing well. So again, the next NSG summit is due, meeting is due, and India is now presently not very keen. Not much statements have been given by the government as such of strongly pursuing India's membership to NSG. But the present chair, Switzerland, has stated that we completely support India's membership to NSG, and also it has not stated anything about Pakistan, means doors are open for Pakistan as well. So this is the news here. So this has been the earlier news that China is opposing, and it is the big roadblock in the consensus. So we don't want to do the same thing again, and when China has been opposing, because China is a prominent member here. So because as long as it opposes, India's membership is not possible. So a futile exercise endorsing and pushing for NSG without getting a consensus or an agreement with China. So this is it. The next is new law to unlock data economy. So the government is now considering formulating a new law on data protection. So this will protect the personal data of citizens, and also specifically with respect to Aadhaar linked biometrics. So there have been huge concerns about the data privacy being upheld. So this will be ensured through this law, and also number of cyber crimes in the country are rising. So to tackle that, this provision is important. Plus also it aims to unlock data economy. So with the availability of data in public domain, there are many avenues through which it can be utilized, like using technology, big data analysis, much fruitful information and applications can be developed. So that will also be facilitated. So this will be a new law as such formulated. Presently, provisions which are there for data protection are there under Information Technology Act, but then these are called as toothless by the government itself. And also another one is the Consumer Protection Act. So under this act also it is specifically mentioned by this provision that disclosure of personal information given in confidence will be an unfair trade practice under the act. So this is it. Then the next news item is Catalonia set to vote on independence from Spain for October 1. So Catalonia government has decided that the referendum would be held on October 1, 2017, whether the citizens here want to split from Spain or not. So this referendum has been criticized by the central government. They have called it unconstitutional, that there is no provision under which this act can be done by the Catalonia government. But the Catalonia government tried to bring in consensus and bring in the center into the provision here, asking it to support this referendum, but center refused. So finally Catalonia has unilaterally called for this referendum, and this has been called illegal by the central government. The constitution makes provision, the central government in Spain, the capital is Madrid, and Catalonia has this place Barcelona. So here actually Catalonia is a very populous region and a very wealthy region too. So it has its own language as well. So it wants its own specific existence as such. So that's why this referendum is also being called for. And the Constitution of Spain makes provision that the central government can intervene directly in the running of the regional government here, and it can force this referendum too. So what further steps would be taken here in this region? We'll have to wait and watch what would happen. Then next is unclaimed provident fund to fund medical costs. So in employees provident fund, many of the savings remain unclaimed. So those accounts which remain unclaimed for 7 years, now government has contemplated that these funds can be used for a new scheme which will provide medical benefits. So earlier in 2016, the government has made such a provision that those accounts which stay unused for 7 years, such funds can be used for a scheme for old age pension. But then employee provident fund, the employees here, the unions protested against this, saying that how can provident fund money can be diverted, because this is the contribution which they have made. So it cannot be diverted for any other purpose. So now the Labour Ministry has come up with a revised proposal, and now employee provident fund accounts staying dormant for the 7 years, this fund would be used to provide medical benefits to pensioners under the EPF scheme only. So those who are pensioners under the EPF scheme will be eligible for this medical benefit. So this has been proposed to overcome the protests which have been coming, the resistance which had been coming from the labor unions also. So a scheme would be formulated and will come in public domain soon. So this is mentioned here. So your employee provident fund money becomes unclaimed if the subscriber does not withdraw money after reaching 61 years of age, or also if he is abroad and does not withdraw money within 3 years, then also the EPF becomes unclaimed. Then the last news item is Centre sets up 18 sectoral groups for smooth GST rollout. So GST rollout from 1st July is imminent. So now the GST Council had decided that 18 sectoral groups will be formed, comprising of various sectors in the economy. So these sectoral groups are comprising of senior members from center and state government, and they would ensure smooth sailing of GST. So any sector specific issue which is there which comes forth to an individual or an industry association or any organization, they can bring it forth before the sectoral group and the issue can be resolved. So this is the sectoral groups which have been announced. So these are the news items. Thank you.